Hi everyone, and thank you for watching, for tuning into my channel. So welcome if you haven't been here before, and subscribe if you haven't. Give it a thumbs up as well, and let me know any comments or thoughts or dialogue that you have. I think it's great, and I've been learning a lot from this. So I wanted to do hopefully a brief video about a couple different things. So really the main point here is the potential of technology and where we're heading. So I tried to record another video and it ended up being like half an hour. I was like, shoot, I need to kind of like figure out how to talk about this in smaller chunks. So here we go. Now, just to kind of summarize and kind of preface it, I've talked about this in other videos, but first of all, the idea of infinity this is important to say too. So the afterlife is a real place. I am a firm believer in that. In infinity, everything is possible over there. And it has all been realized. So that means infinite possibility, infinite, and anything you think of. Once we die and cross over, we will all arrive there, and then we're made immediately whole, infinite health, or immortal, infinite life. And remember, infinite possibility. If you want to fly through the air, you can do that. If you want to build your own realm or planet, or live as a king, or just work 9 to 5, there's no rules once you get there. Then it's up to you how to live life, and you have the literal power of infinity at your disposal. So just to kind of summarize and streamline that, I'm a firm believer in that, and it's kind of exciting. You know, it's something to look forward to. And but so quick preface there, and then another on the other side of the coin. So I've been recently trying to understand, how can infinity be realized, or can it, in the physical realms? So the afterlife is non-physical, you know, like where you and I are right now, the physical half, that half of the duality of existence. So, and I just never thought it was, but the more I began to realize how possible, theoretically, that infinity itself can be realized in the physical realms. It just began to blow my mind. And I'm going to tie this all back to creating matter. You'll see what I mean. So, but over the past few months, I've been, maybe a year or two, super into aliens. It's been in the news more and more. And I've realized you can use telepathy or psychic or spiritual abilities to contact alien civilizations who are extremely advanced. And they have like AI, which we're just now scratching the surface of, to be able to communicate seamlessly. They can use technology to speak with you telepathically. And you hear of a lot of encounters, and they do. They say, well, they're talking to me telepathically or without saying anything, but I could hear their voice. And that's how they do it. So also, there's other videos about, there's some from government whistleblowers that acknowledge the existence of aliens, and our government's slowly doing that. And how some of these civilizations are very ancient and have reached levels of technology that we just can't even fathom. And I've been asking questions, for example, what about physical immortality? Because at a certain point, if you think about it, what would we need for immortality? Bodies that are more resilient. Once we identify what the aging process is, how to pause that, or simply replace it, or have it self-repair, like our bodies can heal. You know, so to maybe transplant with an organ that can automatically heal, or heal quicker, or last longer, as we begin to study these things. And part of the problem there, and also just with resources in general, is limited scarcity. So, but there's energy everywhere that the government knows about and is confirmed and is experimented with. That's, in a nutshell, I believe, referred to as zero-point energy. Remember, the physical space-time continuum, that's a perfect example of what is physical and infinite, because there's an example right there. So within infinite space and time, it is literally teeming with energy. And now I'm no expert, so bear with me here, but basically this energy is just teeming with light or photons. Everything takes on, remember, everything has a duality in existence. So with physical matter, it's either a particle, like a dense particle form, or a light wave. These are the two forms. This is the simple duality that physical matter can take at its basemost form. So before it becomes a physical particle, which then, compounds and unfolds and evolves and comes together and, this and that, becomes us. And we're also made of light at a certain level too, by the way. So we have like energetic frequencies that emanate from us as well. But really, that is, I think, kind of a basic way of putting where everything comes from. And the Big Bang Theory, all this energy just interacts to a certain point where it just pressure created an explosion and it unfolded outwards, and the physical universe began to unfold. So theoretically, the idea of us being able to harness this process, in other words, create matter, and from this infinite energy, this field of energy, would really solve a lot of problems. And infinite energy means exactly that: free energy to run every type of anything you could think of on Earth. Everything's free for everyone. And we reach a point of post-scarcity where we can create our own resources, as amazing as that sounds, mimic and harness and recreate like the Big Bang and create matter. Once we do that, it's just a matter of learning how to create all types of matter, and then we can literally source it from this zero-point energy field. We'll never run out of like trees or water or oxygen. Matter, like literal physical, the substance of all there is, exists everywhere. We just have to tap into its fundamental source, its natural source of existence. And this guy, Dr. Stephen Greer, he kind of explained the power and the magnitude of such things. And I think it even goes beyond this. But just to give you an idea, like the amount of energy of this zero-point field of matter, based on our current capabilities, technological capabilities, we can take the amount of energy that's in a coffee cup and use that to boil off generate enough energy to eliminate all the oceans on planet Earth. In other words, heat it up enough to where it just like turns into steam and goes away. So if you think about that capability, and that's just at our current known level, it's kind of amazing stuff. And there are civilizations who have reached this, as amazing as it sounds. And theoretically, it's possible. So this realization kind of came to me the other day, because I was having these conversations, trying to have them with both my guides, my spiritual guides, as well as directly conversing with aliens. And there's a lot of info out there, but I just want to say that the ones that are in this part of the universe are of a high and benevolent nature. In fact, the ones that have reached this level of amazing existence, that's the reason why we haven't been conquered and invaded, or they haven't enslaved us. It's not because they're like, oh, they're not worth our time. It's because they respect the unfolding laws of evolution, and they have a very strict non-interference policy. But they will step in when they need to. For example, if their safety is compromised, or as one example, or they've actually saved us. This is the conversation I was having about a week ago with them. They have saved us from extreme cataclysms in the past, say like a meteor or something's hurtling towards Earth and will destroy the whole thing completely. They'll step in to divert it or to change its path. So the question came up, I was thinking, like, what about the dinosaurs? Like, why didn't they step in? Because the whole planet wouldn't have been destroyed? Like, what's their threshold for stepping in? So I don't know that. And I thought of that question, and I haven't got the answer yet. So I will bring it up. I haven't bothered to ask and try to receive an answer yet, but it's a good question. So, but they do help us, and they stay away to a certain degree. But now that our technology is getting to the point where we can observe them, and we're finding our way out into outer space, this communication is inevitable, and it's already occurring, has been for decades. So I was actually asking them the question, for example, well, if physical immortality and like near perfect health is a theoretical possibility, I imagine you guys have very strict emotional control. That was the question I asked them, is you must have a physical mastery of communication. And when you communicate with us, it's like, no wonder you're so benevolent and calm and patient. You would have to be to deal with, a bunch of morons like us on Earth. So I imagine when you do express anger or distaste, you do it in a very calculated manner. And they said yes. So they said they actually do have technological like pharmaceutical, for example, medicinal, physiological mastery, and of the highest levels of civilization out there. Some people refer to them as a galactic federation or federation of light, for example, but there is a highest order of beings that does try to maintain, like we have geopolitics on Earth here. I'm trying to maintain and control and monitor who has access to this ultimate power. Literally, sounds amazing. It's like a mix of sci-fi and fantasy almost, but and spirituality. But these things have been realized and are protected, and you have to earn your way into being a responsive. Just like we have the whole nuclear question here on Earth, you have to earn your way to 0-point power and energy throughout the known universe. And there's a huge, massive network in a variety of dimensions of highly advanced beings that have reached this level, and we are just getting there. Which brings me back to my original point of creating matter. This is what got me the most excited. So this conversation with them, and of course, thank you for that, by the way, kind of triggered my thought process again, and I started researching online, and we have created matter. So we're there. I think the government never tells us anything real time, and I get it for safety reasons, and we still have enemies out there, and we have to maintain and control and release this sort of information and technology very carefully. But about 2 years ago, I think it was a lot before, but if you go on the energy.gov website, and I'll put the link in the video description so you can go read it, but they actually, on the United States Department of Energy official government website, they have an article confirming and saying that, yes, they did create matter by taking two fields of energy of light and not smashing them into each other, but having them just barely graze. And the grazing of these fields of light literally created matter, a physical piece of matter. So we now have the basic knowledge of how to do this. The implications of this are just insane if you really think about it. Remember, infinite field of energy. Therefore, being able to source the same process that created evolution here on Earth almost sounds like playing God, right? But theoretically, it kind of is. Our levels of capability are infinite as we grow and learn how to master this sort of thing. But infinite field of energy forever and ever. We can use this to create matter, therefore achieve long lifespans, cures to everything. Post-scarcity will reach a level of post-scarcity where energy is free and unlimited, and so are all resources, because we can create them. No more food scarcity, no more resource. If you think about this, we really have to come together as a planet to harness this. And we have people, we have countries that are exploring outer space and creating spaceships. And then we have people living in tribes still in the Amazon rainforest, in Sentinelese Islands, by choice. But I mean, we still have nations that, war, and one of the reasons it divides us is control of resources, money, power, and of course ideology, because those with the money and power will have the most influence on Earth, and it's a battle of good and evil, and constantly on so many levels. It's very nuanced, of course, geopolitically, and capitalism, and communism, and control and freedom. But resources would solve all sorts of problems on this. It would upend life as we know it, because free unlimited resources and the ability to create anything we want physically, unlimited, no more bills. I mean, it would change the way we work socioeconomically, economically, the haves, the have-nots. Everyone would have food and shelter. So it's like no one fights over these resources, or there's no a limited amount to where we have to figure out how everyone can have enough with a limited amount. So it's amazing stuff. Again, I'm going to put the link in the bio, so please check it out. And I just was really excited, and I wanted to share this because we are there. And this is such an exciting time. For the thousands and tens of thousands of years that we've been here, technology has really only exponentially grown over the past 100 to 200 years. And I mean, 100 years ago, there weren't like cars like there are, and electric cars, and cell phones, smartphones, TV and radio like we have, and computers. And now we're in outer space. We have spaceships, we have airplanes, commercial flight. It's just like we've gone so far, and now we're creating matter and exploring outer space. And it's just, if you think about the implications, and this is the leaps and bounds we've even made in the last 30 to 40 years, where we're going to be in the next 30 to 40 years. And we're starting to admit and acknowledge and interact with interdimensional physical beings. I've seen UFOs, and I know many of you maybe have out there as well too. So it's like, to be fair though, not all of them are aliens or interdimensional beings. Some of them are government craft, experimental craft, or craft that they're flying around to kind of gauge the reaction of what the human populace how they react, at a grand scale, like a large scale, so they can kind of expect how to release this information to us. So it's a bit of both. However, I think we live in amazing times, and but we just have to come together as a people on Earth and just learn to live and let live and not fight and kill over everything. It's just there's a bigger, greater answer that we could all benefit from, and we just have to get beyond our tribes and our history and realize that there's a huge universe, and it's teeming with life and infinite possibility physically, and we're just now scratching the surface. So it's exciting, and I really hope we can manage this well. I do, so well, thank you, and let me know your thoughts in the comments too, or UFO experiences, or any links or info that you have, or anything. And once again, appreciate you watching. Thank you, and take care, and we'll see you in the next video.